Get started. The topic for tonight is the love languages, and I am going to use a couple of examples to make this specific to parenting. A lot of you know I definitely have a passion around the topic of parenting, and I'm going to use some examples and highlight how you use it in parenting. However, whether you are a parent or not, understand that the principles I'm going to quickly touch on tonight, they are relevant to all relationships. And you see, here's the thing, right? Love languages is probably, I believe personally, thank you for sharing, Kylie Hall, welcome to the line. I believe it's one of the most profound principles that you can ever not only know about, but that you can apply to your life. You don't just know it, you become it. You become these principles, and you become the kind of person who is always looking for how you can communicate your love more effectively. And when I say love, I mean, I'm talking just helping people to feel loved. What does that mean? They feel important. They feel noticed. They feel significant. They feel like they make a difference. They feel like they contribute. All of those things. So you could be a boss or a manager and want, you know, I believe it's crucial. And I can actually, not just I believe, I can tell you it's crucial for you to understand the love languages of your employees or your colleagues. So these principles I'm going to cover apply to every relationship in every area of life. And so essentially, here's the message. It's not just about knowing you're loved. You need to feel like you're loved. When we get empty love buckets and we crave for what it is that makes us feel loved, we start behaving in ways that is typically viewed as annoying by other people or, very defensive, okay? But when your love bucket is full, your defenses drop and opens up lines of communication like a whole lot easier between marriages, partnerships, parents and children, and whatever. So it's one thing to know you are loved. It's another thing to feel that you are loved. Think about it. I bet you that there's a parent or a grandparent or someone close to you in your life that if you look back on your life, you know they loved you because they were supposed to love you and they were the mother or the father and you were the kid or whatever. And you know they loved you because of course they did. They were a parent and they always, you never went without or whatever it might be. But you still never felt like you felt it. I never felt love. And here's the thing, all it quite often comes down to, I'm in love, getting married in September. Congratulations. Well, listen up, right? Because it's one thing to be in love. It's another thing to love. And I want you to make a separation. They are two different things. Being in love is very different to learning how to love on an ongoing basis. So we need to love in their language, okay? And quite often we love in our own language. And if our language is different to the person we are trying to love, then our love gets lost in translation. It's like if I was trying to tell you that I love you, but I was saying that in Chinese and you don't speak Chinese. No matter how much I tell you I love you in Chinese, you're not hearing it. You don't feel it, you don't get it, and therefore your love bucket gets a bit empty, and then as soon as it gets empty, we get low self-esteem. As soon as we've got low self-esteem, our defenses come up in defense of our spirit. And from that point forwards, our behavior changes. So here's the key. Loving someone in their language. Make sure that our love communicates. The one thing I'm slowly discovering, but I feel it from my son every day. Absolutely. Now, let me touch on what these are, because the thing is, no matter how much you try to show your love in any particular language, if it's not the language of the receiver, your entire effort to love is lost. They don't feel it. And this is quite often what breaks down relationships. It's like, oh, you never love me and you never give me this. And they're like, what do you mean? How can you be so selfish? I do this for you and I do that for you and I do that for you. And I can't believe you haven't even noticed. How on earth could you say I don't love you? Because typically what happens is, you've been loving in your way. Maybe your love language is acts of service, for example. And so you use your language and you make their dinner and you run them around and you're always doing things for them. But if their love language is touch, it doesn't matter how much you tell them you love them, how much you do to show you love them. If you're not touching them, if you're not, doing something tactile with them, they are not going to feel like you love them. You can talk to the cows come home. You can do acts of service, like repeatedly. but your message to love, your effort to love is lost in translation. And if you're a parent and you're losing your love in translation because you're loving with your language and not their language, this can quite often be the only thing you need to get better at, the only thing. And you think to yourself, I haven't even changed anything I'm doing. Their behavior has just turned around completely. Is there a way to find out someone's love needs? Absolutely. I'm touching on that. So here's what the 5 love languages are. I can't go into detail tonight. I like to keep my periscopes short so that you always know you've got time to get on. But if you're liking what you're hearing tonight, and by the love hearts, I can see it looks like you might be, here's what I'll be happy to do. Actually, you know what? Let me ask you a question before I go into the details on what the love languages are. Let me know right here, give me a comment. Would you like me over the next couple of periscopes to go deeper into this topic? And tonight I'm just going to discuss what the love languages are. Would you like me to go deeper into how to find out what someone's love language is, and then how all the different ways that you can love them with that language? You would. Okay, well, I think that's a definitive answer. Thank you. I appreciate that. Still love Periscope. Who on earth says they don't like, isn't it funny? Some people go, I don't like Periscope. The link expires 24 hours after. It's like, well, life doesn't come to you on a silver platter. You don't get to watch things, the people that don't like Periscope, they don't like it because it's not convenient for them. And I'm like, if you want access to some value in your life, you've got to start doing things a little bit inconvenient. So, interesting. I'm loving your responses. I love it. Holly is the best. Carmen Tazavac, you rock my world, girl. Now listen, here's what the love languages are. First world problem. Exactly. Here's what the love languages are. First of all, gifts. Then there's touch. Then there's acts of service. Then there's words of affirmation. And then there's quality time. All right? If you've got a pen on you, write that down. I'll say it one more time. Gifts, touch, words of affirmation, quality time, and acts of service. And I think I said them in a different order both times. But anyway, you get it. So, for example, gifts, that person needs gifts from you. It could be so tiny. But the thing is, what makes them feel loved when they get gifts isn't the materialism of the gift. It's knowing that you were thinking of them when they weren't around. And the gift is, all the gift does is it resembles, you thought of me when I weren't with you. I'm tired, please don't touch me. Well, listen, I can talk about the way you can violate someone's love language as well. We'll cover that when we go into some depth in the next couple of periscopes. But for tonight, I just want to let you know there's gifts so for someone, for example, let's say, all right, let's take an example for those of you who have quality time. What someone with quality time needs is full attention, not sitting beside me playing on your phone or sitting on the couch with me watching the football and I'm sitting beside you and you think we're having time together. Someone with quality time can sometimes come across as high maintenance. I'm also a quality time, one of my strongest love languages is quality time. You'll find that most people have, you'll have 2 predominant love languages. You'll have one real strong one, followed closely by another one, and then the other 3 will be a whole lot less than the first 2. Now, don't get me wrong, it's like personality types. We all have a little bit of everything, okay? We all like a little bit of everything, but there'll be 2 that are dominant. So for someone whose love language is quality time, it doesn't matter how much you buy for them, how much you do for them, how much you tell them over and over again, I love you, you're special to me, gosh, you're amazing. They're all words of affirmation. And that might be your love language, which is why you find it natural and easy and convenient to show your love in that way. But if that's not the love language of the receiver, including your children, then your love is getting lost in translation. No matter how much you try to show it, it isn't being received, and what doesn't get received basically doesn't get accepted because it's not there, and then we get empty love buckets, and then we start the downward spiral. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. We're going to do the next 2 periscopes, and the next one I'll cover in-depth 3 love languages. The one after that I'll cover 2, and I'll also summarize everything. So make sure you tune in. Anyone you know can get a whole lot of value from this. If you know any parent out there, tell them, I don't know what you're not. I think you should get on. Go and be a blessing to them. Be real with them. Say, listen, I don't know what your plans are, but I'm telling you, you need to cancel your plans 9:30 Adelaide time Thursday night, because it's not about whether or not you've got plans. It's all about priorities. if you learn to get your priorities right, it's not about what you've got planned, it's what your priorities are. So let them know we'll never be longer than 15 minutes, okay? And that they need to get on this. And if you're thinking of someone right now, understand that that person is not coming into your mind accidentally. That is on purpose. If there's someone that you can't get out of your head right now, that's because the universe is trying to use you as the messenger to connect them with this message. Okay, so let me cover what the 5 languages are again, and we're going to close off. The first one, for example, doesn't really matter what order, gifts. Second one, touch. People that need to be touched. That doesn't mean in loving ways. For a child, for example, throw them in the air, give them whizzy dizzies, play wrestling games on the ground, throw them on the bed. That's, a child that loves that kind of stuff, their love language is touch. It doesn't just mean hugging and kissing, okay? The third one is acts of service. It doesn't matter what you do elsewhere, just do things for me. You making my lunch, you bringing me a coffee, you doing the washing for me. They're all acts, you dropping me off at my sports. They're all acts of service, all right? Words of affirmation. Doesn't matter how much you do for me, how much you touch me, I need you to tell me. I need to know I'm good enough all the time. I need to know I look good, I look pretty, you value me. I need you to, not just I love you. That's not enough. Not just I love you. Love me specifically. Tell me what you love about me. All right, that's words of affirmation. And quality time. Quality time. Give me your full attention. I don't need a lot of it, but when I get your time, I need all of it. In that moment, I need all of it. Now, great question, Laurie Price. Thank you for asking. Here's what I'm going to do. I need to wrap this up because I want to keep it short, okay, to keep you guys coming on. If these things get too long, you'll all stop dialing in. So what we need to do, here's what I'm going to do. Go, if you haven't already liked my Facebook page, go to Facebook. In the search bar, type in hollynoonan.com, or if you want the URL, it's facebook.com/Holly Noonan Entrepreneur. Go right now to my business Facebook page. I did an article that had, I think it was read by like 3,500 people within 1 or 2 days or something, around the love languages specific to children and how to identify what their love language is and how to love them in that way. All right, can you earn brownie points? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to post that at the top of the page. Go and like my Facebook page. I'm going to post that article. Go ahead and read it. If you get something from it, share it. And understand, don't just be here to come and withdraw, to come and get from these kind of articles, or not just mine, but anyone that you connect with. Don't just be around people that make you feel good for the sake of withdrawing from that. Imagine that everything we do is like an energy account. The universe is this like a bank account, but instead of being an account of money, it's an account of energy. And for accounts to be functional, there needs to be withdrawals and deposits. So any account that you access, guys, whether it's me or anyone else, don't just go and make withdrawals. Also make deposits. Leave behind your comments. Leave behind your testimonies. If someone comes into your mind as you're reading something, that's not happening by accident. Out of all the people you know, why do you think of them? That's on purpose. The universe is trying to use you as the messenger. And if you don't tag that person or share to their wall in any content you're ever reading, not just mine, anything that you ever read, you're doing them a really big disservice. Thank you, Sabrina. hollynoonan.com, but go specifically to the Facebook page. So go into Facebook, like Sabrina just said there. In the search bar, type in hollynoonan.com. That's the easiest way. Otherwise, the URL is facebook.com/Holly Noonan Entrepreneur.